Good morning, guys. Welcome back to another video. I just got some Starbucks and I got a lot more work to do on the BMW on this cage. Now, unfortunately, I was hoping to have it all done in that last video like I mentioned, but this takes a lot more time than one would think. So obviously cages are not quick work unless you do this every single day. It's a car you've done before, but even then, it's still just a lot of man hours that goes into this. This is my 5th day working on it. So the goal for today, in this video at least, is to finish this up. It's probably gonna be a today, which is a Friday, and then tomorrow, which is a Saturday thing that I'm gonna be able to finish it. So all that's left to recap, and I'll show you once we get there, door bar uprights, triangle corner gussets to A-pillar to main hoop, rear down bars I have to redo. I had to redo the diagonal bar, and I'm redoing the harness bar. So sounds like a lot of work. It is, but it isn't. But that's all the tube work that's left, and we finish welding out. So let's get to the shop. All right, so let me show you the status update on this thing really quick. We made some pretty good progress since the last video, because at the end of the last video I mentioned that I was going to do the door bars and then figure, continue on where we are, and that's exactly where we are. So the door bars, I went for a more simple style. As you can see, I just did the top hoop with the bend in it, kicked it straight over, the bottom bar just bent. So I'm gonna go ahead and add 3 uprights. I'm gonna just measure it out, just try and space them evenly from like door sill to door sill. But it's probably gonna be like here, here, and here, if I had to guess. But I'm not going to focus on that now because I am running out of material. So that's all cut off over there. I have another stick over there from cutting the diagonal bar here that I should be able to use. And then I believe I have 1 or 2 more sticks over here. Yeah, I think just 1. Yeah, so I got 1 more stick. I do have some 120 well I could use for the rear X though, because that's not a big deal. GoPro just shut off randomly. So picking up that last clip. What I was trying to say is this bar right here, obviously the A-pillar. So the issue I had before is I had my rear down bar, I had it more over here. Now ideally the best way possible is to tie it in here, so that's what I'm going to do. As for the A-pillar bar, or not the A-pillar, the diagonal bar, you can see I had it over here at this mark before. It needs to be within 6 inches. This was like, yeah, this is the 6-inch mark, I believe. So I was at like, I don't know, probably 8 or 9 inches. So I moved that, came here after hours yesterday, got this welded in. I did have to tie it into the chassis back here and down here because there was no room for it. Stupid fucking welder, stupid thing. Ah, just so much clutter, I hate it. Been messing with me so much. I don't like a dirty shop, and doing cage work is not clean, so the clutter everywhere is driving me insane. But anyways, yeah, so uprights, and then this is also what I was talking about. So putting little tube gussets here, just nothing crazy, just something, tie that in. And then yeah, the harness bar I have to redo just because I moved this, so the pieces that I had now don't fit. So yeah, not much work left, and then just weld everything out. So I got some joints welded already, just the order of operations thing, like the ones here down in the corner, I had to weld those so I could tie in the diagonal bar. So we got a lot of work to do, so I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna jump straight into trying to do the down bars. Now I mentioned this before, all I do is I take this guy, this helps me find my angle for there, because that's the harder part for me to find, because I can hand notch decently. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my measurements, make this up, and I'll update you guys once I got both these things made. And if anybody is interested in the tooling that I'm using to get this job done, for those of you that are just, tool heads or just want to know, I'm using a Harbor Freight bandsaw. This is just their bigger one. It's got the coolant and stuff. I've been using this thing for a couple years. It's a workhorse. As for notching tubes, I use a mix of things. So if it's an easy notch and I know the exact angle and I can fit the tube in here, this is my JD square tube notcher. I normally use a corded drill, but I don't feel like having extra clutter over here. And when I need to hand notch something like this, for example, this is a hand notch, I will use a mix of my porta band with my angle grinder, and then even a little bit of the tube notcher once I have the angle. But that's pretty much it. And then, that's nothing special. Tape measure and a good marker. We got special guest Jeff helping. So if you guys haven't seen him in the background in the last few videos, he's I almost said shop neighbor, and he also does what I do. So
I thought you were gonna call me shop dog.
Yeah, he's my shop dog. So he decided that instead of bullying me this time, he's actually gonna help. So he's helped me with the down bars really quick. And thankfully we just went over it. I do have enough material. I was really stressing there that I didn't. But yeah, we'll go over that as we get there. But yeah, down bar 1, down bar 2, and then get the X sorted. That way all the big pieces are out of the way, and then we can do the uprights. So right now we're just notching for it. And he's showing me his way of figuring it out.
Just kind of do the do.
You're really cramming her in there, huh?
Oh yeah.
That's looking pretty decent.
Decent. There's no gap all the way around it.
Like I said, it's decent.
And now, look at where we're at. We're at the top of our plate, so now you just gotta cut your angle. Chop it in.
Alright.
Now we got the angle for the other side, so we'll just send the other one too.
True.
23 inches.
23 inches up.
That right there is 23.
Okay, so now we got the down bars tacked in, work on the harness bar. That's why we got the seat in here.
We're gonna go to the underside of 23.
Because you have to have the harnesses at a certain angle. For the FD rule book, I forget what it is, but general rule of thumb is within like 10 degrees. So ideally just put it pretty level with your shoulder strap, you know, cutouts in your seat, so.
Someone put a seat in.
Can't crawl out that way?
No. He said I'm gonna get it on camera that this shit don't fit. There she blows. Yep. Like I said, it was close.
Yeah, okay. That's just still so confusing me. I always mess that up on the first cut.
You're gonna have to tweak this one though, because this is clocked wrong.
It's okay.
Either that or I clocked it wrong, but either way, whatever.
Make it work.
It'll do the thing.
Okay, so harness bar is tacked in place. Got both sides of it done now. Jeff did that side, I just finished this side. We're looking pretty level now. We got good fitment, so not mad about that. Next up, since it's the last bit of the big tubing, I'm just gonna make a rear X. Now that's just gonna go from top corner, obviously, to down here. That's gonna be one big piece, and then the piece that goes that corner to this corner, obviously that's gonna be two pieces, just like this was. Okay, so I'm on to this point of the X, but I'm a little confused. So I got that notch situated up there. This one is really confusing me. So I just called Jeff back to see if he could come help me. Because you can see I have it marked where I believe the notch is gonna, you know, throw it at. But the issue is that if I notch it there, the tube comes this way, you know, diagonally, and it has to rotate. So I don't understand how you get it on a different plane. So we're waiting for Jeff to show back up so he can come save the day again. Because I'm just the, you know, I don't know. I'm a professional, but everybody's, you know, always learn something new every day. So yeah, hopefully you can come save the day really quick. Other than that, we're looking pretty good. After this, all that's left is finish the opposite part of the X, triangle here and on the other side, and then 3 door uprights, and we can finish welding this stupid thing out. And man, I'm excited to see this with the dash in here, all the tubes in here. All right, I have it marked. I just don't really understand what I'm doing.
Neither do I. I just work here. Wait, so it's not.
Yeah. This is the problem, child, because I'm confused because the tube comes up this way. I have it marked following it that way, so I don't know how to account for that. Teach me.
It's honestly really easy. Just mark your tube and you figure out the face of where they are so you know which direction you need to clock it.
So how do you... I am overthinking it. How do you know that that's the face?
Because you can see where they touch.
What do you mean?
Right where they touch is right here. So this is the face that these two intersect each other. It's just a notch. Angled this way and clocked. That's all it is. There is no third dimensional plane.
Well, so that
It's still
the
just
face
2D.
line you made, that's where it's going to be touching the tube. So the line you made, so when we put it in the
notch is
notcher,
gonna go this way.
so the face line you made is going to face the center of the notcher, right?
Take that. Mark on that right there. Right there.
Huh. Oh, so it'll face vertically.
We don't want our notch to be this way, and we know we want it clocked this much to get that weird two-dimensional that you're trying to make three-dimensional.
So this stays as is then, with the face line vertical?
Yep. Not vertical. Wait. See, it's clocked at least a little bit to make up the differences in the length.
Okay.
So we probably want our notch to start about here. That way we know we don't go too deep. But sadly enough.
Moment of truth.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's a kind of an awkward fit in here. So that's like needs to be tapped into position. Where's me mallet?
Because we don't have it faced yet. Knock it. Hit it.
Oh, okay. Makes sense. Still a little sketchy for me, but it definitely makes more sense.
That fucking... That's about as tight as we get.
Probably should have coped it or faced it before we, or if I cleaned it up before I knocked that in, but... Alright, well, shout out Jeff for saving the day.
Booty cheeks fit there, boy.
Okay, making pretty good progress. Let me show you. So we do have the rear X all done. It's all tacked in. Looking pretty dope, honestly. Came out really nice. So right now I'm working on the second to last pieces. So right now I'm doing door bar uprights. I did go ahead and weld in the door bars fully, as well as the A-pillar to the boxes and the main hoop to the boxes. So these ones, I don't know. This is kind of like where you can get fancy. The rule book for FD says at least 2. The way this is spaced, I didn't want to have 3 here and nothing here. So I'm doing 1 here and then 3 here. So 10 inches apart, all of them. So I'm going to do this door first and then match it to that side. And that should look pretty good. So right here, you know, I got the tubing notches set up. Thankfully, these are really quick and easy notches. They're just 0-degree notches. You're just notching them straight. Other than this guy, which I'll just match that bend, which I believe is 27 degrees, so that'll be easy. So that should snap right into place. Yep, just like that. the uprights are all in position, pretty equal. I decided for now, because I'm not painting this right away, I'm gonna wait a while because there's things I may add. But instead of putting a tube here, I was thinking maybe put a plate, like just, you know, just some style points or something, since that's not against the rule book. So anyway, that'll be for another time. Last thing to do is just make the gussets right here. So hopefully those should be roughly 45-degree notches. So I'm gonna go set the notch up for that. Just take a couple, I don't know, a 5-inch piece and just cope it and hope that works. All right, and just like that, a few minutes later, we are finished up. So we got this tacked in, both sides. There, obviously one over there. I'm freaking stoked. It actually looks like a nice little cage, eh? Not bad for my first time doing a full cage setup. So for anybody wondering, intrusion bars, those will probably come later. Again, this is a streetcar setup, more or less. Like, I don't know if I plan to compete in the future, but I built it to spec so I could. So if I do intend to, and I plan to rip the carpet out later, then I can add intrusion bars then. That's where you tie them in with like the front footwell area, the front wheel well area. So at that point, I'll probably have some sort of swap in here, or, you know, a lot less wiring. I'll take the dash back out, pull the climate control. So that's probably a big future me problem. But for now, I'm happy with this, because at least with the intrusion bars, I can add those later. Like, you can get almost full on the welds over there from what I can tell. So if anybody was wondering that, there's the answer to that. But for now, this is going to be totally fine for me. So all I got to do is weld everything out now, but I'm probably going to save that for tomorrow because I am stinking whooped. I got a heck of a mess to clean up with shavings over here. I mean, just look at how gross this whole area got. Like, so I'm going to go ahead, clean up, get some prep ready, because I got to head out here shortly to attend a dinner, and we'll come back and we'll weld this thing out tomorrow. Okay, I got a little antsy and I decided to start welding out what I could, since I still had a little bit of time to kill. But the downside is I just ran out of wire, so got to stop for more in the morning. Right in the middle of the weld every single time. But I guess at least on the bright side is I got the full passenger side door bar welded in, so we're looking decent. And then I was starting to get the gusset welded in. I got this side of it, and then I ran out of wire right there. So yeah, you can see partway through the weld. So that sucks, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna call it a day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow where we can finish welding this thing out. Well, we got some more welding wire. So let's load this thing up and let's finish welding this thing out. Well, she is all welded out now, so I'm freaking stoked. I'm burnt up even through my welding jacket, but it's looking pretty darn roll cage like. So, final overview, this is still cooling, so that's why the wires are clamped out of the way. Yeah, we got all the tubes up in there. And all the center X, that tube, those tubes in the middle there, all the way around. Some of these were honestly kind of tricky to get to. And that's also how it just blows my mind that some dudes are so good at cages that they just like TIG weld everything. Like, you know, a lot of it, you know, in that case, I'm sure roof comes off and you get pretty, you know, pretty balls deep into it. But anybody that can, you know, that does that level of cage work, dude, I've said it well, every time I filmed a cage video, I always say, you know, kudos to you, much respect. And I truly mean that. Cage work is not for the weak, but it's done for now. So I don't know if I mentioned it in this video or the last video. So I do intend to pull the windshield at some point and add in A-pillar gussets right here. There's no need to pull it now. It's a good windshield. It's not cracked. So I got a buddy that runs a glass company. So once this eventually cracks, being here in Arizona, street driving it, you're bound to get rock chips. So once it does finally need to be replaced, I'll have him pull it, give me like a day or two. I'm gonna add in some gussets along here most likely, and then I might even tie in triangles up there, just like I did over there. So overall, you know, I'm freaking stoked. It's been a long week, but I'm proud of the work that, you know, I've been able to do because, let me turn this light off and blind myself. But yeah, I'm just, you know, proud of myself. It's been a minute. I know I'm sure there's gonna be people in the comments that have something to gripe about, somebody that's better than me at this, and you know, that's okay. I'm open to constructive criticism, but overall, I think I did a pretty darn good job. I wanna give a shout out to my buddy Jeff at JK Fab on the backside of my complex. He's been a great help. It's great having such a helpful, you know, knowledgeable shop neighbor. And my buddy Corey at Never Shift Fab, he's also a huge help in cases like this where they're just full of more knowledge on this topic than I am. But I got a lot of work to do to put this back together. Well, I mean, kinda. I gotta put the dash in, but if you guys have pulled an E36 dash, you'll know that there's a lot of little odds and bits, and these screws are damn near impossible to get to, so my wrist is still all sprained. I should be wearing my brace, but it's on the toolbox since I was welding. But it is what it is. I'm gonna go ahead. If you didn't watch the last video, I flocked this dash, as you can tell. So I gotta just air hose it off really quick to get the excess flock off and start putting this thing in. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll, you know, again, I'm just by myself, that I didn't bring my head strap, so I can't wear the GoPro right now. So I'm just gonna catch up with you guys once stuff is kind of put back together. I gotta vacuum a lot of crap though, because I don't know if any of you noticed what I was welding on. This is a fiberglass fireproof fire retardant blanket, so I had that, and then so I didn't get as itchy, I laid down a tarp over it. So I gotta vacuum all that crap out, plus all the dust from grinding and welding and BBs and stuff. So I'm gonna give this a good deep vacuuming and start putting the dash in. All right, guys, it is pretty much wrapped up now. So everything's put back together. Dash is looking pretty solid. Eventually, you know, when I get bored, I just didn't have the mentality for it after working on it so much the last week. I'll come back here and I'll trim this out a little bit more so this all fits a little bit better, because we're like touching the steering column here. But you know, if anything, hopefully that acts as a anti-rattle device. But yeah, I just gotta get some roll cage, you know, padding now, just so I have a nice safe armrest. And obviously, because this tube is right up next to my head, I mean, it is what it is. That's part of the cage life. It is still a street car, but cages on streets aren't necessarily the safest thing, so you got to take some precautions for it. But yeah, no, I'm stoked this is all done. So I apologize for not doing more detailed, you know, stuff on the cage. It's just hard being a one-man show, trying to film everything and do all the work with it, especially with how much work this is. But we're looking pretty solid. I just got to bolt the glove box back in and then take the driver's seat out of my Integra, since it's a NRG bucket to fit in here. Yeah, we're looking great though. So I'm gonna wrap this video up here, guys. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me the last two videos while we built this cage. Again, I learned a lot, and I'm ready to do some more now with that knowledge. So if you enjoyed the video, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. If you're new to the channel, hopefully hit that subscribe button. We're about to hit 25K, so if you want to just share the channel around, that would be fantastic. Yeah, if you want to help support the channel further, I do have Velocity Race Fab merch on the website velocityracefab.com. And yeah, so do what you love. Forget about the rest. We'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace out.